Coming up, we'll be on location in Alexandria, Virginia, discussing the benefits of integrative health and wellness and how it can improve your overall health, wellness, and life with one of this region's top integrative health and wellness experts, Lydia Michalitianos. Welcome, Lydia. It's so nice having you on our program.
Thanks for having me, Rocker.
It's your first time, in fact, on the Top Doctors interviews. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to hear from some of your clients a bit later as well. But we were really looking forward to this interview because you are one of this region's top integrative health and wellness professionals. You have experience and you are helping folks throughout this region utilizing hypnosis, utilizing life coaching, meditation, and other wellness modalities, just to name a few, personal training and fitness as well. But before we get into all that, Lydia, you have quite the unique background, having gone through so many different things, like many folks do at one time or another, and you've overcome all that, transformed yourself today to where you are, where you're able to use all that knowledge and expertise and personal experience to help others in such a powerful manner. And I wanted to ask you if you can please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so, like a lot of people struggle with weight nowadays, and especially obesity becoming such an epidemic. This was something I struggled with at a young age, and especially I see, I'd say like 1 out of 5 kids, maybe 1 out of every 3, they're now struggling with just weight management problems. And a lot of this is related to, low self-esteem and self-confidence issues, and, having been through that and gone that transition all the way from a very young age, being bullied in middle school for my weight, which kind of shut me down, which obliterated my own self-confidence and self-esteem, and being able to climb out of that and really realize that what everybody's telling me, the feedback that I'm getting from others, is not really what is real, and that was just how I was perceiving, and that affected everything, every part of my life up until now, including like my career and relationships and everything. So when I see others who are struggling with that, that really is the core problem of a lot of people's, everything from smoking to weight loss, relationships and dating, anger management. It's just really all about your own emotional stability, what you perceive, and how the kind of feedback that you're getting and how personally you're taking it is really, your outside world is really a reflection of what's going on the inside. And it really took that internal work to not only take the weight off, but also keep it off. A lot of people will try and take the weight off, and they might get it off for a while, but it becomes a yo-yo effect. So I see a lot of people who are struggling with the yo-yo dieting because they know how to do the work on the outside, but they don't know how to become that person to maintain the results, whether it's weight loss or, I'm worth more than a cigarette, or I'm worth more than this type of job or this type of relationship. It really comes from the inside first.
Yes, that's a great point indeed, and so important, because a lot of us don't realize that what we experienced when we were much younger, right? In many cases, or it can happen when we're adults as well, depending on if it's a impact type of event that we experience or situation, but it really shapes us in so many ways. It limits us, and we feel even though we don't see it, but there's something a lot of times holding us back, whether it's in our careers, our personal relationships, our lives, whatever it may be. And you don't just put a Band-Aid on it. That's what I love about what you're offering and all the great work you're doing in this region. You actually get to that core problem. This isn't something medication helps people with. We think it may, right, in some cases to reduce anxiety or stress, but there's a real core issue in there, and that's where you come in to really help us identify it and then remove it from within ourselves to really power us to move on with our lives in the manner that we're capable of doing.
Exactly, right. When you really think about it, we didn't come out of the womb with all these problems, right?
That's right.
So, who we are is exactly like you said. It's just based on our experiences, the type of people that we have talked to, worked with, have relationships with, and it just depends on the feedback that we get and our own biases that really reflect and how we become the person that we are today.
That's right, and I love the fact that you can help us break through all that, and that's a very powerful ability, that's a talent, and who better to learn from and to overcome things in our lives than someone who's overcome them herself, like you, because you can really personalize what each of your clients have gone through, right? In so many ways. Now, what are some of the, actually, let me just pause. Now, I know you touched on a couple of those modalities that you've been utilizing to help folks, but can you please tell us a little bit more about not only helping folks with smoking cessation and weight loss, but you have other areas that you can help people with as well?
Yeah, I work with a lot of athletes, business owners, entrepreneurs, people who are really high level, and maybe they're on prescription pills, maybe they're not, maybe they refuse to try it, they're more into alternative medicine, natural healing, and it's, like I said, a lot of these problems are driven from like one or two things, but they can spill out to other areas of their life. I find that a lot of weight management clients that come in are struggling with sleep, are struggling with confidence in dating, are struggling with confidence in their careers, in meetings, or even networking. So I never assume what comes through the door is the only thing, right? I always ask, well, where else could this be affecting you in your life? So, everything from reasons why we procrastinate, stress, anxiety, smoking, obviously, and just bad habits. I also work with kids, and just things as small as, finger sucking and hair pulling, and just anger problems and temper tantrums. So also sports and performance is really my background. So I'm a personal gym rat myself. I was a competitive bodybuilder for a few years, and although I don't compete anymore, I always like to be at my best, also keep myself in that kind of that balanced place where I'm not working out too much, but I'm working enough that I feel good and I'm doing it for the right reasons. Because I did find that, especially in bodybuilding and other athletes will try and perform for the wrong reasons for somebody else. Yeah. And when you do that, that can drive you to some pretty painful areas that aren't so healthy.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's helping people find balance in their lives as well, and figure out where they should be and where they shouldn't be, and really what feels good to you is really, that's the right answer. It's just what feels good to you.
And what would you say is the evaluation process that your clients go through when they first meet with you to really help them identify the problem areas that they're looking to eliminate or correct as best they can through your help, and their specific issues, and also to customize the correct plan that I'm sure you do for each of your clients? Yeah,
exactly. Everybody is so different. And like I said, most people don't really actually know what the problem is. Some of them do, some of them know some of their experiences, how they've affected them. Typically, I'll get a phone call from them, or they can find me at my website, and we'll do a consultation over the phone, which is it's free. So we can talk for, 30 minutes or 40 minutes and kind of get to the deeper root of maybe how important it is to them to fix right now. And, if they're in a good place to start, and if they are there, we can book a session together.
That's great. And then they come in here, and as far as your schedule, I believe you offer very convenient hours, right, for your clients, including weekends, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I do Saturday mornings as as kind of like a typical, kind of like a 9 to 7:30. So 6:30 is when I would take my last
Oh, wonderful. Client. Wonderful. For all the busy folks out there, that makes it more convenient,
I understand that as well. So Saturday mornings are,
Absolutely. And what are some of the strategies that you have implemented over the years? Again, without delving into too much detail, because again, I know it depends, as you just said a few moments ago, on each particular person, his or her situation and needs, and then you customize the appropriate plans for each of them. But can you give us some idea of the strategies utilized?
Yeah, I know my business is Build Yourself Inside Life Coaching and Hypnosis. So I get asked a lot how often we would do hypnosis, or if we do that in every session, or if we do that right off the bat. And it really, again, it depends on the person. I know what hypnosis will be really powerful for, and especially for things like bad habits, food cravings, addictions. That is definitely one of the most powerful modalities. Yeah. I also have a background in Neuro-Linguistic programming, and that's also very similar, just using your imagination and the way you see things to change the way you see situations and your circumstances. So that is also very powerful, and just some things as simple as just creating new daily habits for people. We could spend half a session just talking about keeping a calendar for yourself, a to-do checklist, because the unconscious mind loves checklists, right? It loves checking things off. So just helping them get organized in their life. Meditation practices is what I help them. So what's important to me is to not just work on people or work with people, but it's also to give them tools that they can use on their own to help build that infrastructure that most of them come in without. It's just they don't have that solid infrastructure, so they're trying to pull from a million different resources and a million different coaches or people, getting advice, and it's, well, if it's not coming from the inside, then you're just going to be running around chasing your tail. So I mean, it's like I said, anything from just creating just a simple daily habit of drinking 8 glasses of water a day to a full, 45 minutes, an hour and a half of hypnosis. It really just depends on the situation that comes in.
Absolutely, and you really are a coach, so to speak, for each of your clients, because you're their person to help them, right? Their partner to help them, and I'm sure the results are as good as each particular client is willing to do their end of it. It's not like they just come in here, because people, they get the misconception with hypnosis. They think you just walk in, there's a wand placed over you like Bewitched, right? And then all of a sudden you're good to go. That's not how it works. It can get great results, and it's very safe and effective modality that helps a lot of folks, as you said, with weight loss, smoking cessation, reducing stress, anxiety, just to mention a few areas. But it's really the client working with you, the coach, so to speak, to really do their part as well. It's not just a quick one session and we're done. It's really working together to get the best results, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the first thing that comes through the door is never the answer. So I might start with that in like the first session and then kind of backtrack. It's just like peeling back layers of like an onion.
Yeah.
So, I also communicate with my clients outside of our sessions. I check in with them. Sometimes I just surprise them with a phone call. Like I said, it's not just like a, one and done thing. It's always best to follow up with everybody that I work with, and like you said, it's a team type of thing. Yeah. So I love checking in with them, even months down the road. I like to know how they're doing, and it's definitely not a magic wand. A kind of question I get is that what made you want to get a background in hypnosis or in NLP and life coaching? It's just like, absolutely, this saved my life. I wouldn't be where I am today without being able to tear down my own beliefs and my own perceptions of what I thought was real. And it's the more flexible a client is, the more flexible a person is, the more open-minded they are, the more results they're going to have. And it's just people who come in are defensive, or they're sent by their doctors, and it's just or they're sent by their spouses. I've had people who want to send me their spouses, which is all great, but it has to come from that person. And also, I talk to a lot of parents who want to bring in their kids, and they want to hook them up with a session right now. And it's like, well, I asked them, have you discussed this with your child? Because the last thing I want is to have a deer in headlights type of reaction from a child. It's just like, as long as you're on board with it and you're ready for the changes, even if there's a conflict and you're having trouble stopping it, there is so much work that can be done and that can be changed. It's really all about your level of commitment. Exactly.
That's right. And speaking of results as well, we're now going to hear from some clients of Lydia's. Welcome, Sally. It's a pleasure having you on our program.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
We always appreciate it when folks take time in their busy lives to come down and share some of their experiences with us. And on that note, I'd like to begin, if I may, Sally, by having you please tell us, what were you experiencing or going through in life that brought you to Lydia?
Well, I'm thrilled to be here because I believe in Lydia. She's done a lot for me, and she's been extremely helpful. I first found Lydia online, searching because I had lost my mother and was going through an especially hard time, and I found that my stress eating was getting out of control, and I was just spiraling out of control, and I needed help. So when I found Lydia's ad online, and she did nutrition, she does training, and she also does hypnosis and such. She's like a life coach. She taught me to think positively and to see my future and to live my future the way I wanted to.
Well, it's very interesting, and I'm really sorry about your mom.
Oh, thank you.
Obviously, that's a very tough period you must have been going through. And then you came here. She really customized, I take it, a path for you, right?
Right. She hit like I said, all of the things that I needed help with. I needed to rewire my mind on what I was thinking about myself and the world. I needed someone to teach me to eat correctly. I needed someone to encourage me to work out. So those were all the things I needed to get me to turn my life around and live a healthier lifestyle.
Can you go into a little bit more detail about some of the interactions and the services and the direction that she provided or helped you?
Well, we would meet weekly, and at that time we would basically just talk and discuss my week, and she would help me to change my kind of negative way of seeing things and turn them into a positive, or show me where I'm assuming things that I should not be assuming at all, and just help me to be a more positive person to begin with. We would also use hypnosis as a tool for me to kind of relax and see things again more positively and reinforce what we had just talked about. And then recently she has taken me on as a trainer. She's my trainer, taking me to the gym, teaching me how to work out there, and pushing me to be more physically active, which is what I needed, and she knew that.
On the right transformational path,
Exactly.
right? To really get your life back and seize control again.
That's exactly right.
And overcome the blocks that certainly occur from different tragedies or
Exactly.
situations.
Or just life.
Yes,
Mhm.
life itself. That's
Right, but I feel like I control the situation now, whereas I did not feel that way before.
Well, we're happy to hear that, Sally. Obviously, you're very happy with the results. Before we let you go, Sally, for all the folks out there that are watching right now, would you recommend Lydia?
Oh, I would highly recommend Lydia. She's been an amazing force in my life in just the last couple of months that I've known her. She is amazing how she works to integrate all of the issues that might affect your problem of, in my case, overeating, which would be depression, anxiety, just life in itself, and works them together to intertwine in order for you to help take control of your life.
Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you, Sally, for joining us, sharing some of your experiences and being a guest on our program. It was our pleasure having you on.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome, Jen. It's so nice to have you on with us as well.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Now, you've been coming to Lydia for a couple of different issues, right? And that she's been helping you with.
Yes.
But today we're here to have you tell us about a problem that so many folks try to break at that problem, and that is cigarette smoking. We know how bad it is for us, and we try patches and all sorts of different things, but too many times, far too often, we go back to smoking. And you came here with that same problem, and I wanted to ask you if you can please tell us how she helped you quit smoking.
Absolutely. So I had been a smoker for years, had quit a few years, and then when life got difficult, I picked up the habit again, was smoking for about 6 months, and was definitely using it as an emotional crutch, and was in a place where I felt that if I tried to quit smoking, I would emotionally unravel. So I came to Lydia for help because she's helped me with lots of other issues in the past. So I came to her, and through hypnosis and some reframing, she was able to get me to realize that I did not need cigarettes. And I was able to quit.
And you brought up a great point a couple of seconds back, and that is that you did quit before, like many folks do, as I mentioned earlier as well. But it seems like when we hit turbulence in our life, stress moments or periods, whatever they may be, where we have added anxiety, it's so easy to go right back to buy that next cigarette pack, and next thing you know, you instead of that, I just need one cigarette, it's back to being a smoker again, right? So you came here to Lydia. She helped you through hypnosis.
Yes.
And how many sessions did you go through, if I may ask?
So for most people, I believe it takes a few. For
Okay.
me, it only took one.
That's it? Congratulations. I take it you've been smoke-free since then?
Yes,
Wonderful.
completely.
We are so happy to hear that. Now, you had mentioned you've come to her over time for different things.
Yes.
Can you tell the folks out there watching what some of those were, so that way they can have a better understanding of all the different types of issues Lydia is helping so many people in this region with?
Absolutely. So I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs from childhood that she helped me work through. I also was stuck at a dead-end job that I was extremely bored with, but was very comfortable. And she helped me break out of that, and I'm now almost a year into a new career, which I love and am thriving in.
And that's a career change for you.
Big
that
career
after
change.
many years, as you just mentioned, of a job that you looked at as a rut, you weren't happy or fulfilled, like so many folks, right?
Yep.
But she helped you be able to take that next step to break through that.
Yes.
To get into a career that really gives you that satisfaction and fulfillment.
Yes.
That's wonderful. We are so happy to hear that as well. Now, before we let you go, Jen, for the folks out there watching, I take it you'd recommend Lydia as well?
Absolutely. She is fantastic. Even if you don't know what problem you're facing, she is fantastic at quickly getting to the root of the issue and helping you through it.
On that note, thank you, Jen, for joining us and being a guest on our show. It was our pleasure having you on as well.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We're now back with Lydia. I must say, some great work. You helped Sally overcome a very big tragedy, the passing of her mother, that resulted in a lot of issues. In Jen's case, she not only received help from you quitting smoking, and she's smoke-free months later,
Yeah.
but she also has come to you previously for other issues, and I'm sure she is indicative of many folks, because when we find someone like yourself that we can trust and that helps us achieve what we want in whatever areas that is, personally, spiritually, career-wise, conflict resolution, whatever the situation may be, you would think that we would want to keep coming back to you as other hiccups or turbulence moments occur in our lives.
Yeah, it's a lot of people ask me how long it takes to get to where you want to be, and that's never a question that I can answer, and how far that person wants to go. Like, even though I have done so much work on myself and I've overcome a lot, I still routinely will go and work with psychotherapists and hypnotists and people that can help me transform my mind. The prescription is the last thing I want. Having gone down that path, it didn't work well for me. So it is really all about consistency, and it's a journey. It's progress. You're never done. I never like to use that word finished, or you're there, or you're complete. I feel like you're never really there. It's just like what is that client, or what is that person really want to get out of the session? That's always important for me to know, is how will they know that they're experiencing success, or they're on that journey.
That's right, because we're literally one conflict away from regressing back to the problem areas that we had your help in overcoming in the first place. So that's why it's really a journey. It's all through our lives.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. What I like to tell people is it's kind of like weight loss. A lot of people will say, "Well, can I come in and do a session or a couple sessions?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, theoretically you could, but it's like, imagine just working out for 2 weeks. I mean, that's pretty much as far as you'll go. So obviously, the more time you spend, with me or with anybody who might help you transform the way you think and your own habits and behaviors, because that's what's creating your life today, the more obviously you'll benefit from it. And that's just, I just like to give people more value for what, especially when they're in a place of, I'm ready to go, I'm committed, I can't take this anymore. This is the best time to go all in on, and it doesn't have to be a massive commitment, but just just a few hours, and just being willing to open your mind to something else, something different.
Yes, indeed. Now, we're literally out of time, Lydia, but I wanted to ask you, before I let you go, you and your organization, Build Yourself Inside Life Coaching and Hypnosis, based here in Alexandria, Virginia, certainly established a reputation for excellence. You are one of this area's top integrative health and wellness professionals. You're helping so many individuals, organizations as well, covering a wide range of areas. And I just wanted to ask you what you feel really helps separate you and your organization apart from many of the others.
Yeah, I feel like, from personal experience, I feel like really helps separate me. I do meet a lot of other professionals, and I like to hear their story, and everybody has a story. I feel like mine is just really specific to health and wellness and overall self-image, because I just know having that background of a really poor self-image, I mean, to the point where I was afraid to, go to school. I used to get subconscious fear reactions just walking around work, walking around the grocery store, and having made just that transition to the other side, and I'm still always like a work in progress, I feel like really separates me. And my niche being weight loss, what really separates me as far as the weight loss community is that I understand athletes, I understand their mindset, I understand they'll go at the cost of anything to stand on stage and get that medal. So I can work with those type of people who go at all costs. Those are the type of people who I really relate to well, who are just going to sacrifice everything, but obviously that's never a good idea, and helping them reach their why and really turn inside and say, well, why is this so important? And maybe there's another way to do it. So
That's right.
As my client mentioned earlier, I also do personal training. I have a background in nutrition and physical exercise. So I offer that as well, and for people who come into weight loss. So.
Well, you're personalizing each of your experiences with your clients through your own personal background, right? And how you achieved all that you have achieved and all that you have overcome. Who better than someone like yourself to really achieve what we're striving for and to overcome what we need to overcome, right? To achieve our goals in our lives. And on that note, I'd like to thank you, Lydia, for joining us, being our guest today. It was our pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'd love to have you back on in the future.
Sounds great. Appreciate it. Thank you.